What's up, everybody? It's Telejohn the Don,
I am Big Skoom.
and this is
Skoom
Speech.
So I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, actually. I want to bring it up today. We were talking about like obese people and like food addiction, things like that. What do you think about that? I mean, well, for some context, he's like, "Oh man, like obese people, like we weren't really trying to be super negative, but he's just like, oh man, like he's saying a lot of things like, oh, it's maybe hard to feel bad for those type of people, and like, what are these people doing to themselves?" What do you think about super obese people? Well, and for more context, I took the stance. I was like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but like, food's a real addiction. Like, that's the point. That's like the stance I went on.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, it's a real addiction. Like, he's like, is it? Like, blah, blah, blah. So, what do you think about it?
Well, I don't think that we can just visualize somebody and think, oh, they have a food addiction. Because, I mean, even smaller people, like not only gordo, like obese people you could say have a food problem or an addiction or something like that.
Yeah.
Because there are obese people too that they like deflect food. Like, what's that? Like,
what, throw it up?
No, not throw it up, but like they try to avoid it. Like maybe they'll only eat once a day.
Oh, okay. And the obesity thing?
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, because think about how the body works. You store things whenever you're not consuming it enough. Your body will go into a store state.
Okay.
So I don't think that you can look at obesity and say, oh, this person has an eating problem, as in they eat too much or overindulge.
Yeah.
Because I think that's super subjective. I think that there's even people my size that could have an eating problem when they overindulge too.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think they're two separate conversations, really. I mean, that's the way I would first try to break it down.
Yeah.
Is say, there's this one first and then this.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I would first enter that conversation.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, man, food's such an addicting and it's like such a comforting thing. I was like, I was just trying to cut these people some slack, and he was just kind of being really critical on them. He's like,
man.
I don't know, I thought it was kind of interesting.
Well, anytime that we can avoid criticism, we should, I think, because
really,
yeah, well,
who are we to judge, kind of thing?
Yeah,
or?
More on the humility mindset. It's like you never know what somebody's going through, kind of thing. People look at me. I have hand tattoos, and they look at me, and they're like, "Oh, he's a criminal," or something like, "Oh, how have you been to prison and all this stuff?" And I'm like, "No way." Like,
do you get those looks?
I get that. I get those questions. I was in a sales interview one time.
Wow.
And they outwardly asked me. It was like, "Well, if I look into your background, I'm not gonna find anything crazy." And I was like, "No. What would give you that impression?"
Yeah.
Because that's my favorite question.
Yeah.
What would give you that impression?
Yeah. Right.
I love asking that question. So he told me, he was like, "Oh, it's because you have, hand tattoos. You got tattoos on your knuckles and the back of your hands and all this." I told him, I said, it's just like, personally for me, it was like the genre of music I was big into at my age and everything like that. Everybody had hand tattoos. Ryan Upchurch, a lot of heavy metal bands, death metal bands I liked. They all had hand tattoos and stuff like that. So, I don't want to say I was influenced to get them, but I maybe found it in myself to justify it. So now where that whole part of me could come into the whole eating disorder thing,
yeah,
it just blends together as in, don't be so quick to judge. That's the only place I would really take that conversation back to, because we never know what someone's going through,
I hear the thing online where it talks about like, oh, like bring bullying back and blah blah blah, as in like in this case, like, oh, and I'm just wondering what you think, but they're like, oh yeah, like if you were to, bully, and I shouldn't say you should bully, but
right.
Let's just go with that for a sec. If you were to like bully this person, then maybe they'll like make a change and like work hard to lose weight or something. Like if people are, you know what I mean, like berating them or I'm not trying to be like that, but I think you get the point, right?
Sure, I understand.
Like, oh man, like you're really big, you need to lose weight. Like maybe hearing it from a whole bunch of other people, then it could potentially, give them an enlightenment and say, oh, I should lose weight or whatever. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. I don't personally think that.
Because if you don't say anything, you're just enabling them.
Yeah,
right?
You're enabling. I agree. I don't think that negative enforcement would bring a positive outcome, though. I mean, there's a very few amount of people in the world that can actually be encouraged off of the hard truth, if you will.
Okay.
And it's very rare to come by, especially these days.
Well,
these days, people's mental disorders are so weak and everything like that. Like, if you give them too many reasons, then you could be the 31 reasons. Did you ever watch that show?
Nah.
It ended up with a suicide. I don't know if you can say that, but an unaliving.
I want to play this out a little bit because, let's say, because it's been a lot of situations. Like, let's say you're generally trying to help this person.
Yeah.
Like, how do you find that middle ground of like, all right, well, I don't want to be too critical, but I don't want to just enable them.
Right. Well, let me back you up here.
Or you just like not care. What were you gonna say?
Right. Well, the first thing you said was you want to help this person. Well, what kind of help do you want to be? Do you want to be a help to maybe them get broken down mentally to where they do something drastic to themselves and no longer have a life? Or would you want to try to build them up and say, look, you could do this instead, and you can join me while we do it? And, well, first, I think you got to figure out what their eating habits are even like. You can't just look at anybody large body weight stature and say, you have an eating problem, and
that's a good point.
I'm going to fix you.
That's a good point,
because that's also you taking on a big responsibility of, I'm going to fix you.
Yeah.
That's for that person to really decide.
Okay, that's fair. I was listening to this one thing where it was saying, like, oh, when it talks about authority and, most people will, like, a lot of people, like, maybe scapegoat and be like, oh, like, I had no choice. Like, this person had authority, so I just had to do it. Like, situation like that.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, like, yeah, well, the reality is like, you get to choose who you give authority to.
That's definitely true.
So, yeah, like, people try to be like, oh, I had no choice, but, like...
Like, you could give that authority to your granddad, but not your father. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Or it could even be a boss at work, but not someone in your family. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like, what do you mean by that?
Well, you pick and choose who really you give authority to change your mindset.
Okay.
Because we had a boss together at one point that he just walked with authority, And a lot of people, they were turned off to that. Like, just fudge that guy and all kinds of negative stuff.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from a different perspective, and it's changing your lens just a little bit on life and reality around you.
Okay.
And realizing, okay, look, if there's some aspects of that person's life that I would like to adopt.
Yeah.
Now we can talk about on that aspect, because it's like, okay, well, I like the way that he talks to people listen.
Yeah.
He snaps his fingers to people and move. Right?
Yep.
So we end up gravitating to that, and we say, I want to adopt that. And then you understand, oh, well, it's with his communication, it's with his authoritarian voice. It's not necessarily him saying something drastic off the wall, because there was a lot of things he did say drastic off the wall, but then there were some other things I would say, like, oh, your men need you. So now it's your men, it's not these men. It's
okay.
It's what is that called? Not claimatory, but kind of.
What do you think some of the best ways to, like, improve whatever it's called, your self-esteem or whatever, or what you think of yourself? What do you think? What do you think you need to, what someone needs to do?
It's a very good question, because it's so subjective. Everybody has their own little pushes and motivations. I mean, you could tune into David Goggins every single day of your life, and still be looking in the mirror at yourself and saying, "Oh, I'm just this, and I'll always be this." But I think it's a little bit of, you need to have enough self-awareness to say, okay, these are 3 things I would like to change about myself.
Yeah.
These are how I plan to do it, and then I start today. Because I think a big problem is, everyone always says tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
We all rely on tomorrow so much. And tomorrow never really comes. Tomorrow's the biggest lie ever told. It's a myth.
Okay.
I don't believe in tomorrow at all.
I remember you talked about how you, like, live in delusion or something.
Yeah, I'm big time delusional.
Explain that a little bit.
Well, I think that living in a delusion. I'm throwing up quotes here because it's whatever you create it to be, you know? Like, if I don't have money coming in for 2 months,
Okay.
well, I own these clothes and I'm still going to dress the way I desire.
All right.
So the way that whenever you first walk into a room or you go to the casino and you just walk around, you wear your sunglasses, throw on a nice suit and tie, and just walk around, people wonder who the heck you are. And you're never going to see this person probably again a day in your life, so you can create yourself in the next 45 minutes
Okay.
for that one person
Yeah.
that you never really existed at all. And, you know, but once you take that delusion and you start to say things to yourself like, there is no task too big. There is nothing that's not worth doing. As long as it's something positive, I would hope. But, you know, do as you wish, really. I mean, free will is definitely a thing. So I think for me, as far as delusion goes, it's I'm going to live my life the way that I feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
And kind of the heck to everyone else, because that goes back to another few episodes ago where I was saying that other people's outlook on me only affects me as much as I allow it to, you know. So
Okay.
it only matters as much as I give it the power to.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
So, somewhere online, I think, or something, where it says like, oh, like typically when a man sees another man, like one of the first thing that crosses their mind is like, oh, can I take that dude? Like physically?
Sure.
Is that something that you do or what? For me, I'll say yeah, if it's something that I do.
If it is something I do, it isn't often enough to where I think about it, because this is where my delusion comes in again.
Okay.
I live to the mindset of I can achieve anything possible. Anything I'm willing to, I'll do it. And, you know, take that with a grain of salt, if you will. But
Yeah, I don't think you answered the question.
well, I don't have a fear against any man, if that's your question. I mean,
No, like the thing I seen online was basically like, yeah, when a dude enters the room, he like looks around, he's like, all right, I can take that dude, maybe that one, like something like that.
just all the time?
Yeah, yeah.
No. My answer would be no.
Okay. What do you typically think?
I live more on the defense. I would never start anything anywhere necessary. And if I'm in the defense, I believe in fight or flight, right? And I'm more on the fight side. So
what do you think when you enter a room?
I look for exits. Personally, I look for exits.
Oh, okay.
It's more of because I study a lot of like military mindsets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think about the person that might be a threat is inside that room right now. I think the person that might be a threat will walk in through one of these exit doors while I'm inside.
So what, are you thinking of like a gunman or something?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah?
And with that,
That's interesting.
you never know where they're going to enter from, how big or small their stature is going to be, what's running through their mind, what kind of mind-altering things they're possibly on at the time.
Interesting.
I'm talking about drugs, of course.
Yeah, right.
Maybe even alcohol. You know, they could walk in completely drunk. And just, maybe they got into a big domestic dispute at their home, and they go out and do something drastic.
Yeah.
I put myself in that sitting duck type of scenario more than the idea of me walking into a room and I'm a sitting duck amongst these freaking sheep, because I don't think that the predator is going to be inside that room. I think the predator is going to come in there,
Interesting.
with or without a mask, but with an intent to do harm. And
what do you think girls think when they walk into a room?
That's a really good question. They're probably
thinking about like maybe more of their day, like, oh, like this happened earlier, and like probably just overthinking things or something.
Yeah, I probably think that they probably walk in there and they're just like, they're probably thinking about what everyone else is thinking about them whenever they walk in.
Okay, I was thinking, no, I think women maybe are like potentially more reflective or something, so maybe they're just like reflecting on their day or just reflecting on maybe last week or just thinking about other stuff. I don't know, that's kind of what I would think. I don't know though.
I agree with you. I would tend to agree with you. I don't know. It would be a good question to ask your woman.
Yeah,
if there's any women watching, drop a comment below. What do you think when you walk in the room? You look around. You walk into like, where's a common place we walk into? Applebee's.
Yeah, there you go. Applebee's.
You walk in Applebee's and you look around the room. You probably like notice how many people are sitting at the bar and how many people are at the side tables and stuff like that. What do you guys think?
It's interesting because I feel
'Cause
like your thing about what you do when you look in the room. I feel like it's still almost pretty similar to like what I seen online. How like I feel like it's still almost kind of similar, right?
as far as defense goes, of
Well,
if
not
something
defense or
starts happening,
offense. I don't think people think that deep about it. They just look around, scan the room, and just I guess whatever it is, look for a threat or potential threat, whatever you call it.
maybe just familiar faces. If anything, I walk in there, I just see if I know anybody.
Well, I don't know. The first answer you gave, I felt like was I don't know, probably more indicative to like what all men look for when they walk into a random room. Like they're just looking for any potential threat.
Yeah.
Like that could be a threat.
Well,
This that might be a threat.
I look
That
for
that
ways to
that.
get out of the way if there was a threat.
Yeah.
You know, or where I would direct my woman to go. Look, there's an exit over there by the bathroom. Take that, and I'll be out in the car or I won't.
Yeah.
I would probably be more optimistic. I'll be outside in a little bit. Then give her the idea of her sitting in the car, and I'm going to probably get shot inside because I'm going to, try to protect 95 other people in the room that have no idea this is about to happen.
But let me think of one quote. I think it was by General Patton. You've heard me say it before. He's like, "A good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow."
What do you think that means? A good plan today
is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. I feel I don't know.
I feel like that having a plan at all only matters if you go for it. If you try to attack that plan.
I mean, how I see the quote is like tomorrow may not come.
Well, yeah.
Like you could have a perfect plan tomorrow, but if
what's good with tomorrow?
Well, yeah, tomorrow may not come.
Tomorrow's the biggest lie ever told, guys. Seriously.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. Whenever you say, "What do you plan on eating?" you don't think of what I'm going to eat for breakfast or lunch tomorrow. You think of the very next meal, right now, in the next 2 hours maximum, maybe the next 4 hours, depending on what time of day I ask you that question.
I don't know. I feel like tomorrow is more important than today.
I don't know. I don't even like making plans because I don't like tomorrow so much.
I feel like
tomorrow, dude. I
feel like as humans,
driving to work tomorrow, and tomorrow's Halloween when we're recording this episode. Today's October 30th, and I feel like planning for that so much is almost distracting. It's almost distracting because as I was told what my task at work tomorrow was today, I was thinking, oh good, I'm going to be off on time to go spend time with my niece and nephews at, trick or treat, for Halloween. And so what that did was ultimately it took everything off my list for tomorrow, what I'm doing, until 5 or 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it really stands in the way of my creative mindset if you really think about it. That's that linear mindset that I like to talk about, is where if you think linear, you think far into the future, where you cut off a lot of time where your feet are right now. Think of so much into the future that does it eventually make right now pointless, is my question.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I don't know. That is true because for people who can generally live in the present, I mean, that's got to be like a superpower. Like
that's me being stoic, guys. Like I always just try to think about where I am right now.
Yeah.
And what I can learn right now, or what I can maybe teach somebody else. That's why it's so important to live in the moment to me personally.
Yeah, living in the moment's definitely got its benefits.
Yeah. Not saying that having a plan is a bad idea. Definitely plan. Because the future is inevitable, and you want to set up a plan for somebody else or something else, if it isn't yourself personally. Me, I like to have an idea that after I am dead and gone, that my fiance will be okay, and other people around me that I care a lot about will be all right,
Yeah, death, man. What an interesting thing.
Yeah, but it's something we battle every time we leave our house.
Yeah, I guess so.
Every time you leave your home, the chances of coming home are 50-50.
You think they're 50-50?
At least.
That's pretty interesting.
At least 50-50. Well, let me think about it. I walked into the bank today. The likelihood of somebody walking in and robbing a bank in 2024 is very slim because I don't think anyone's that stupid anymore.
Okay.
Knowing what we know about bank robbers back in the 70s and 80s, even early 90s,
yeah.
Now, no one's really just trying to do that. Now they can run a scam online and get all your information and make a whole bunch of money selling your social security number.
That's a good point.
Right. So I don't think that, to me personally, almost, and this is kind of crazy, but walking into the bank, I honestly feel more safe than walking into a Walmart these days.
Oh,
Not that I've been in
interesting.
Walmart in a long time, but
I think that's probably a good point.
just a reference,
That's a good point.
because so much crazy stuff happens these days. These
Yeah.
days, buddy, everything is sketchy, and we're seeing more and more car accidents that lead to death and stuff like that. I mean, yes, as all of these car manufacturers are getting better with public safety inside of these kind of scenarios,
Yeah.
the likelihood is still high. It's still up there.
Okay. It's
You know.
interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. I say
Hmm.
it is about as serious as 50-50 of if you're going to make a home safe or not.
Okay.
A lot of it's in your own hands. I agree, but there's a lot of unknown scenarios here.
Okay. How do you sleep? How do you typically sleep? Usually, like someone who like.
Mattress from a mattress firm. We are not sponsored by this product.
I was trying to think of that commercial, but how do you sleep? Usually, like some people really have trouble sleeping. I wonder.
Oh my goodness, I sleep like the dead.
Oh, you do sleep good.
I am the cousin of death, kid.
I wonder if like. I don't know if that could be like a hereditary thing, like something that gets passed down from your family members, like
I think that it
bad
comes with
sleeping
age,
habits or something.
or personal dietary plans. And
Or if
other
it's like,
things to
oh,
do.
maybe it is diet, or like maybe I don't know. I don't know if it could be like something traumatic, like you have a lot of guilt, or I don't know. Like some people really like. I know several people who can't get like a full night's sleep without waking up.
That's
gotta-
crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm glad I'm not on that list.
Yeah, I'm not either. I sleep like a rock too.
Guys, I go to bed every night between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. and my body wakes me up every day at 7:30 on the dot.
Does it?
7:33 at the latest.
No way.
Yeah, but dude, if my blackout curtains are closed or not, 7:30 on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people are like I don't know, like some people are really like I don't know if they're morning people, but they're like, oh yeah, like I'd much rather like get what I gotta get done.
A lot of people probably stressed out, buddy. So
Can't
much,
sleep?
yeah, just so much not knows.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
A lot of uncertainties. That's scary. Being uncertain about something is definitely a negative thing. It takes up a lot of mental space of how unsure you can be about some things.
Yeah, sleep, man. I feel like sleep's such a like I don't know, it's just like such a waste. I'm sure I always used to say like I'm sure Elon Musk will make something with that chip where we don't have to sleep no more or something.
Only sleep like 2 hours to recharge just quickly.
Sleep,
Like
so
however fast it is to
boring.
recharge your iPhone,
Yeah.
like that's how good you'll be. Like 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Well, hopefully it should be no sleep at all, dude.
No sleep at all.
No sleep at all. Some computer chip or something.
Yeah, just run endlessly, like just like how the Tesla is. Like as soon as you hit the gas pedal, it's just ready to go.
That's made me think, like, dude, imagine the future, like, no food at all. Like, you don't even need food anymore. The future's gonna be crazy.
Dude, that would be terrible. I love food way too much. I don't even care if I'm eating something as simple as mac and cheese, buddy. I love mac and cheese.
Yeah, well,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess our kids, right? Maybe they won't even know what food is.
oh,
We're
don't
all,
say that,
we're all
dude.
half robots.
No more enchiladas,
Or
dude.
maybe full robots.
No way.
Yeah. All
Dude, I
we,
love enchiladas.
all we eat is ions and freaking battery acid.
We're freaking just take everything from the sun.
Yeah, right?
We'll just photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. Apparently tribes in Africa, they go like weeks or months without eating. They just
I mean,
get nutrients from the sun or something.
that's gotta be terrible. I
Yeah.
love food.
I mean, that's a
That's
hindrance
so-
too. I heard some sort of statistic where I forgot exactly what it was. I don't know. I don't want to be wrong, but I don't know. It's like I want to say it was a quarter, but it might not have been. But like, we'll use that. It was like a quarter of the time we're gonna spend like dealing with food, like eating it, preparing it,
Yeah,
shopping
right.
it, or whatever.
Shopping for it, all this stuff.
Yeah,
I definitely
it's just a
agree
waste of
with you.
time.
I definitely agree with you. It definitely gets in the way of making money, Because think about it. You're out here working hard, making money, and you're like, oh, man, I got to stop for something to eat because my stomach hurts. And now, mentally, I don't want to work at my best capacity and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you how it could definitely be a hindrance, but I don't know. I get so much enjoyment out of it. But I definitely agree. And it definitely makes a difference on what you're putting in your body.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're eating clean and stuff like that,
When you talk about making money,
yeah.
there's like this one thing that people are always like. I just relate like. I'll relate in a sec, but people are like, oh yeah, I get burnt out, right? You always hear people saying that, like, oh yeah, I just burn myself out, or I can't do it too much, I'll get burnt out. You know, people say that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, people say that. So I like to debunk that myth.
Burning out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a myth.
People,
I'll tell you.
here's how I debunk that myth.
Yeah, go for it.
Because, like, let's say whatever. Let's say they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm working 2 jobs. I'm working 10 hours a day."
I say good,
But I had to quit one because I got burnt out or something. I'm like, all right, well, if you were working those 2 jobs, making $100 an hour, all day, every day,
Sure.
you think you'd burn out then?
Because it would then be worth your time.
Well, but the point I'm trying to make is,
Okay, yeah,
it's well, yeah, the money and the time are directly linked. Like if they were making enough money that made it worthwhile, they wouldn't burn out. Burnout's a myth. It just means you're not making enough money. I think.
I agree with you.
Because usually it's linked to work or something. Like, oh yeah, I'll burn out. Burnout's a myth. It just really means you're just not making enough money.
I got a
Or don't
question.
feel like you
So here's
are.
a good scenario for that. So of course you're talking about people working 2 jobs. So of course there's travel time in that, right?
Okay.
We're not talking about somebody that just works 2 jobs and they stay home all day,
Yeah.
right? Obviously. So what if you've got 2 telemarketer jobs and you just stay home all day? Answer the phone. Hi, this is so-and-so selling so-and-so insurance. Boop, get hung up on. But I can do this all day. Who cares? How much is it to just write down a script, a really good script, and write down 17 different scripts and try all 17 of them differently, you know? Call the same person throughout the week
Yeah.
with a different script every day. Well, this is creative. They're not telling me the same thing all the time. Oh, this time they actually asked me for my first name. And, they asked me what I ate for breakfast. Well, this is kind of, interactive.
Telemarketing would be a tough job, I bet.
Yeah, just because everybody's so prone to hit the button or just let it go to voicemail.
Yeah.
It's got to suck. But still, I mean, hey, they're getting paid by the hour usually.
I mean, yeah.
There's commission in that.
You're just trying to make money and then gotta do it.
But you have no travel time.
Yeah.
Lay down, take a nap every 30 minutes. If you're not going to be doing whatever, you're already home. It's not like you have a boss really hounding you or whatever. You're not on camera behind a register or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's not, I don't think personally at all burnout is a real thing.
No,
I left to work today ready to stay on the clock and ready to go back and do something different.
Yeah.
My only problem today was back to the other topic of food. I was hungry. I was hangry. I was ready to go.
Food, man.
Like, dude, give me a pizza. I told my boss, I said, buy me a pizza, give me 30 minutes, and I'll work through the night. Don't care.
Yeah, there you
Do
go.
not care. Right now, I'm hungry, and I just want to go. But go why? Just because I want to eat.
Yeah, right.
But if food was at me, which I do pack a lunch, I packed a breakfast today too.
Oh, nice.
So I had 2 meals, and I was feeling meh. Then, as soon as hunger kicked in, boom, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, right.
It's a whole bunch of malarkey, but I don't think burnout's a real thing. I think that it matters on who you're dealing with, if you even enjoy doing what you're doing, and all other sorts of factors of personal, what do you want to call that? Like, selfish desires, really,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
As soon as you get too cold or too hot, you want to take a break. You want to go home.
Yeah.
As soon as you get too hungry, you want to go home. But I don't think that being too tired is really a thing. I think you're just tired of what you're doing.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Just gotta work out that mind, get that mind right. Basically.
I just inhaled a cigar. That was not cool. I'm getting unbelievable flavors from this Rocky Patel.
Nice.
Rocky Patel disciple, guys. Curious.
Nice. Well, let's wrap this one up for tonight, brother.
I'm gonna wrap it up.
Happy Halloween.
Really, all we got much to say. I'm a tight time crunch. We never stop working. It's a myth.
Yeah.
This has been College on the Dawn,
I am Big Skoom.
and this has been
Skoom
Speech.